Some names are carved in memory, others rot in silence. But when your own name disappears, what's left of you? Stay till the twist. I didn't notice the name vanishing at first. The first time someone forgot it, I laughed. Dennis, my co-worker, the kind of guy who mistook his own shadow for a threat, squinted at me across the break room and asked, "You new here?" I'd worked beside him for 5 years. "You're joking," I said. "Right?" He blinked. "I don't think we've met." I smiled at him, waiting for the punchline, but nothing came. He turned and walked away with his coffee, muttering something about needing more sleep. I told myself it was stress. People blank on names all the time. But the following day, 3 more people I saw daily: Bryce from IT, Javier in accounting, and even Greg, my manager, gave me that same hollow look, polite confusion, like I was a stranger in my own life. I stood there with a frozen grin, trying to play along. "Come on, Greg, very funny." Greg narrowed his eyes. "Are you temping for someone?" He didn't recognize my face, not even a flicker of recognition. I wasn't just a forgotten name, I was a stranger. I left work early and took the subway. Home, heart racing, trying to tell myself I'd wake up soon. A nightmare, obviously. Some weird fever dream. But when I got back to my apartment, 2B, the same one I'd had for 7 years, there was a new name on the mailbox. I ran upstairs, shoved my key in the lock. It still worked. I opened the door. The inside was mine. Same furniture, same creaky floorboard by the hallway, same smell of damp paperbacks and instant coffee. But the photos, gone. Every picture of me erased from the walls, the frames, the fridge. My own face was missing. The mirror confirmed I still existed. Same scruffy brown hair, same faint scar above my right eyebrow from when I fell off a bike at 12. I tried to say my name out loud. It didn't come. I opened my mouth. Nothing. My tongue moved, my lips shaped it, but it was like chasing a memory that slipped deeper the harder you reached. Panic bloomed in my chest. I yanked open drawers, hunting. For ID, nothing. My wallet had no license, no bank cards. Only cash, folded neatly in bills that might as well have been forged for how disconnected they felt. I called my father. He answered on the 3rd ring. "Hello?" "Dad," I said, desperate. "It's me. Your son." Silence. "Who is this?" "Dad." "Come on, I need help." "You have the wrong number," he said, and hung up. I didn't sleep that night. My name, it was gone. Not just forgotten, but peeled off the world like dead skin. I tried calling my old high school buddy, Mitch. We hadn't spoken in months, but he used to say we were like brothers. Maybe he'd remember. "Mitch, please, tell me my name," I begged. "What the hell? Who is this?" I drove to his place the next day, rang the bell until he opened the door. He stared at me like I was a drifter. I grabbed his wrist. "Look at me, you know me." He pulled away, slamming the door in. My face. The cops came within the hour. I didn't fight. I needed someone, anyone, to look at me and say my name. To anchor me again, but the officer at the station only asked questions I couldn't answer. "Name?" I opened my mouth. Tried again. It just wasn't there. "You don't know your own name?" "No," he raised a brow. "No ID, no record. Fingerprints not in the system. What kind of game are you playing?" "I'm not playing anything. Something's wrong. Please help me remember." He sighed, scribbled something down, and made a call. I spent the night in a holding cell. No charges, just forgotten. The next morning, they let me go. Said I was harmless, probably homeless. The words scraped something raw inside me. I wandered. Days blurred. I started avoiding people, not out of fear, but shame. Every encounter chipped away a little more of me. I slept in motels, paid in cash. At one, I looked into the mirror and realized I couldn't describe myself anymore. I knew how I looked, but I didn't know it. Not really. It was like reading a character description in a book. Familiar, yet not. A week later, I met Saul. He was sitting on a bench outside an abandoned train station at the edge of town. Mid-50s, grizzled beard, sharp gray eyes. He watched me approach like he'd been waiting. "You forgot too," he said. I froze. "What did you just say?" "You forgot your name, and now the world forgets you." I sat beside him, staring. "How? Do you know?" I whispered. "I had a brother," Saul said. 2 years older. Grew up in Kansas. One day people stopped saying his name. Teachers, parents, friends, even me. I couldn't help it. It just disappeared. He looked off into the overgrown tracks. Then he started forgetting. First his name, then memories. Then he forgot how to cry, how to feel. He told me, before he vanished, that he felt hollow. Like a story no one told anymore. "Did you ever see him again?" I asked. Saul shook his head. "You don't die when you lose your name. You dissolve. The world won't hold on to you without one." He reached into his coat, pulled out a battered notebook. "I've been writing mine down, every day, over and over." He showed me. Page after page of the same name. Saul Benson, Saul Benson, Saul Benson. "It helps," he said. "Slows the fading." I asked if I could try. He handed me a pen. I pressed the tip to paper. My hand moved, then stopped. Nothing came. "You're further along than I thought," Saul said, voice low. "I can still feel it," I said. "It's like a ghost in my throat." He nodded. "Maybe you can still get it back." "How?" "There's a place," Saul said. "North, about an hour. Forest Road off the grid. They call it the Archive. Rumor says it holds forgotten things." My pulse quickened. "Names? Maybe." He wrote directions on a torn napkin. "But be careful," he said. "Not everything forgotten wants to be remembered." I left at dawn. The road twisted like a question with no answer. The forest grew denser, hungrier. Trees leaned in close, whispering wind song in a language I almost understood. Eventually, the path ended in front of a stone building, swallowed. In ivy, no signs, no doors, just a rusted grate over a hollow window. I climbed through. Inside, shelves stretched into shadow, impossibly tall. Books, boxes, folders, millions, maybe billions. The air buzzed with static. I felt it in my teeth. "Hello?" I called. No answer. I wandered between the shelves. Some held photographs of people with blank faces. Others, recordings labeled only with timestamps. One shelf held jars filled with what looked like smoke. Then, I saw the old man, thin, hunched, with a crooked spine and hands stained with ink. He sat at a desk, writing furiously with a quill. I approached, slowly. "I'm looking for a name," I said. He didn't look up. "Aren't we all?" "It's mine. I lost it. Then it wasn't yours to begin with." I clenched my fists. "Please, I need it. I'm slipping." He paused his writing, looked at me. His eyes were pure black. "Do you remember your first kiss?" I blinked. "What?" "Your first kiss. The moment. The air. The taste. The name of the other boy." Yes, his name was... It was gone. "Your first pet?" "Rudy. A golden. Gone." "Your father's face?" I saw it. Then it blurred. Like fog. The man smiled, teeth yellow and needle thin. "You've given more than your name. It's unraveling. Soon you'll forget what you are." "Help me," I begged. He stood, beckoned. I followed him deeper into the archive, where the shelves bowed under unseen weight. At the end, he pointed to a small black door. Behind that, is your name. But names have power. To take it back, you must give something. What? A memory you cherish. Something pure. I hesitated. Then I thought of the little boy I'd once been, laughing in a park, chasing fireflies. My mother, her voice, her warmth. I'll do it, I said. He opened the door. Inside was a single pedestal. On it, a slip of paper. My name, I recognized it. Instantly, I snatched it, pressed it to my chest. My body convulsed. I fell to my knees. Memories poured back. My school, my friends, my voice, myself. And then, gone. My mother, her face, her name, gone. I walked out of the archive, weeping. For who, I wasn't sure. Back in the world, people noticed me again. Greg waved. Dennis invited me for drinks. I was real, but every night I dreamed of a woman's face, blurred and weeping. Weeks passed. I searched for Saul, wanted to thank him, but the train station bench was empty. In its place, a small notebook, every page, the same name, Saul Benson. Saul Benson. Saul. The last pages were blank. I flipped to the final one, and there, in my own handwriting, was a new name. Not mine, not Saul's, but a third name I didn't recognize, until I did. It was the name I had before this one. The name I'd traded in a different life, in a different archive, and I remembered. This wasn't the first time. I'd forgotten before. Again, and again, and again. Each time clawing back a new name, forgetting something else. How many names had I worn? How many lives had I left in tatters behind me? How much of me was still real? I looked in the mirror. My face flickered, shifted, then smiled. Not my smile. The mirror laughed. You've remembered too much, it said, and the glass shattered. But I didn't bleed. I crumbled, like dust, like paper, like a name, whispered too softly and forgotten. I crumbled, like dust, like paper, like a name, whispered too softly and forgotten. But I didn't vanish. Not entirely. Not yet. I found myself in a place that wasn't a place, a gray stretch of not quite space, filled with half-formed thoughts and unspoken words. A limbo of memory, unanchored by name or meaning. I drifted, insubstantial, like the whisper of a man who'd once been. There were others, shapes, wisps, echoes of people whose names had also been unmade. They floated through me, around me, inside me. Each time one passed, I caught glimpses. Childhood. Laughter, the smell of chalk, blood on fingertips, a hand reaching out for someone who no longer existed. We were a congregation of the forgotten. A voice, vast and without origin, spoke. Not in words, but in impressions. You have remembered too much. Now you must choose. I wanted to scream. I had no mouth. Choose. Fade, or be remembered. What kind of choice was that? To fade was to surrender. To be remembered? But by who? And what did that mean now? I didn't know myself anymore. The person I once was had layered over so many identities, each peeled and swapped like snakeskin. I was a nesting doll of abandoned souls, and now the shell was cracking. Still, something clawed inside me, something that refused oblivion. Want to be remembered, I said, though I didn't speak. I simply was the choice. The gray shifted, the limbo shivered, and then I was falling, not gently, not weightlessly, falling hard, fast, violently, slammed into a new body like a soul thrown into a suit 2 sizes too small. I woke gasping in a hospital bed, fluorescent lights buzz screaming above me. A man in a white coat stood over me, clipboard in hand. Good to see you awake. My tongue felt like dry leather. Who am I? He smiled. That's what we're going to figure out together. I was in some kind of psychiatric facility. Clean halls, locked doors, no windows. That opened. They called me John Doe. Said I'd been found unconscious outside a burnt-down church miles from any town. No ID, no injuries, just amnesia. They assigned me a therapist, Dr. Harlan, late 30s, stern but curious. He asked questions I couldn't answer. "What's the earliest memory you have?" "Smoke," I said. "And a name, but it wasn't mine." He frowned. "Whose was it?" "I didn't know. Sometimes at night I'd scribble things on the walls of my room, names, dozens, hundreds. Some sounded familiar. Others made my stomach twist with inexplicable guilt. I began to suspect none of them were truly mine. I wasn't just someone who had forgotten. I was a collector of forgotten names, a mosaic of the lost. And something was wrong with that. Doctor. Harlan grew more cautious. He began recording our sessions. One day, he brought a mirror into the room. "I want you to look," he said. I did, and I saw not one face, but many, layered, shifting, morphing between identities I could almost name. The boy from Kansas, the archive keeper, Saul, the man in the cell. Dr. Harlan was writing furiously. "What do you see?" "Too much," I whispered. He nodded, not surprised. "There's a theory," he said. "That memory is identity. And names are the threads that hold it together. Yours have tangled, frayed. You believe me?" "I believe something happened to you," he said carefully. "And I believe you're not just delusional. That night I found something under my pillow, a note in my handwriting. Saul is gone. The archive is not a place. It's a parasite. You're infected." I showed Dr. Harlan the next morning. He read, "Face unreadable." "Did you write this?" "I don't remember." He folded it and slid it into his coat pocket. "Let's talk about the archive." So I told him. Everything. He didn't flinch, just took notes, asked questions. But something in his posture had changed, not disbelief. Fear. Later that week, the night nurse, Tom, came to me after lights out. "I read your file," he whispered. "I know about the archive." I stared at him. "How?" "Because I was there too." He rolled up his sleeve. A name was tattooed on his arm, Jeremiah Fielding. I inked it the day I left. Thought if I wore it on my skin, it couldn't be taken. I touched my own arm, smooth, blank. "You went back," I said. He nodded. 3 times. Why? Because I kept leaving pieces behind. People I loved. Memories. The archive doesn't. Just store the forgotten. It feeds on it. I felt cold. What does it want? Everything. We met in secret after that. He taught me how to ground myself. Mantras. Routines. Writing names in the margins of books, then burning the pages. But the cracks were widening. Sometimes I'd black out for hours, wake in different clothes. My handwriting would change. I'd speak in voices not my own, and worst, others noticed. Patients avoided me. One claimed he saw my reflection move before I did. Another screamed when I smiled, insisting my teeth were wrong. Dr. Harlan transferred me to isolation, said it was for observation. But I knew. They were afraid of me. Because I wasn't just holding names anymore. I was becoming them. All of them. At once. Then came the worst night. Woke to alarms, screams, doors slamming, smoke filled the hallway. The ward was on fire. I stumbled out, vision swimming, and found Jeremiah lying on the floor, blood pouring from his mouth. "They know," he gurgled. "They found the archive. Tried to burn it. But it's inside you now. Inside me. Burning only feeds it." He pressed something into my hand. A matchbox and a name. Written in his blood. "Your first one." The name hit me like a flood. I remembered. Before all this. Before the trading, the forgetting. I'd found the archive on a dare as a teenager. Entered with a laugh, mocking the legend. I had scrawled my name in its guest book. A joke, but the archive never forgot. It had marked me then, each time I lost myself. It let me claw something back, but never the right thing. Never for free. I wasn't a man anymore. I was a living ledger, a record of every memory it had ever consumed. And now I was full. The only thing left was to give it back. I staggered. Out into the courtyard, matchbox trembling in my fist, whispered every name I could remember, every face, every moment, and I struck the match. Flames curled around me, hungry and holy. But I didn't burn. The names did. They screamed as they left me, like shadows tearing from flesh. I saw Saul, Mitch, the boy from Kansas, the archive keeper, Dr. Harlan. Wait, Dr. Harlan. He wasn't one of the names, except he was. He had been me once, a version, a borrowed name, worn in desperation. I understood then. The archive didn't store the forgotten. It multiplied them. We were all echoes of one man, split across timelines, memories, selves. I had fractured reality with every bargain, and now it was. Collapsing inward, I dropped the match. And everything, time, identity, memory, caught fire. Not destruction, purification. The next morning, the hospital stood quiet. No fire. No damage. No records. No patients. No staff. Just a single man in a white coat sitting in the courtyard, writing names in a notebook. He looked up as I approached. "You made it," he said. I nodded. "What's my name?" He smiled sadly. "Whichever. One you can live with." I chose one, spoke it aloud, felt it anchor me, warm and solid. Not perfect, not original, but real. For now. I turned, walked away, a man with a name, and in the scorched dirt behind me, something whispered. Soft, brittle. "Forgotten name, waiting to be worn again."